Brown hair, big blue eyes, and an even bigger smile.
The all-American girl.
Her name was Amanda Jones. Amanda was well known in Pevely, where she grew up. She was the second of 3 children and a self-proclaimed daddy's girl.
She liked to tease me. I called her Mandy. I called her Amanda. When she was in trouble, I called her Amanda Lou.
And Amanda Lou wasn't just loved at home.
Nobody was a stranger to her. And she was a very loving, kind person and had many, many friends.
Liked to hug people, let them know that she cared for them.
Including her daughter, Hannah. About 5 years after Amanda divorced Hannah's dad, she met a guy named Brian Westfall and got pregnant.
She was in hopes, I think, that maybe he was going to have something to do with the baby.
But Amanda's parents say Brian had a long-term girlfriend, and a family with Amanda was not in the plans. They say not only did Brian deny the baby was his.
See, he had offered her money for an abortion, and Hannah there, she was 4 years old at the time. She said, "You're not going to hurt my baby."
And she would raise the baby on her own.
Then came that day, that fateful day, August 14th, 2005. Amanda walked into church with her parents. They say you could just tell she was in a good place.
She was bubbling. I mean, that girl was glowing. Even the people at the church would say how she was glowing and how happy she was. And she was dressed in all pink. And she was just so happy. We had just been at the hospital the day before to have a tour of the nursery and everything.
So no one was worried when she told her family she was going to meet Brian Westfall at the Hillsboro Civic Center around 1 o'clock that afternoon.
And she told Hannah, she said, "Mom, you see, in a couple hours." Amanda was always her word with Hannah. If she told Hannah something, you knew it was going to be true.
Dolled up in pink, she hopped into her blue Pontiac Sunfire. Amanda's family never saw her again.
I think he did something to her. He had the means and the ways to commit a crime and not get caught.
It's a lot of woods out there. He had access to all kinds of heavy equipment.
After interviewing with the sheriff's office nearly 13 years ago, Westfall has never agreed to speak with detectives again.
Yes, he is under no obligation to speak to us.
Wow. Does that make it incredibly hard?
Remarkably difficult.
She was abducted on Sunday. He got a lawyer Sunday night. His girlfriend got a lawyer Monday morning.
Family friends found Amanda's Pontiac parked in front of the Hillsboro Civic Center, unlocked and abandoned. Her cell phone, wallet, and keys missing.
Someone had to have seen something. Highway 21 right there is well traveled. We've gotten a lot of tips and leads and input from people, not near as many as you'd think we would.
I called Brian Westfall's attorney and even went to his family farm to see if he might talk about Amanda's disappearance all those years ago. His mother answered the door.
Are you Brian Westfall's mom?
Yes, I am.
But still, no answers.
I understand, but no, we've been advised just to not to say anything. We have nothing to say.
It's bad enough that she's a daughter, a sibling. She's already a mother. The fact that she was an expectant mother on top of that, just it's I can't imagine it. I can't fathom it.
I've done a lot of crying in the past, but I've just put it in God's hands.
Aww. Amanda's daughter Hannah, now 17, put her mom's disappearance in God's hands too. She didn't want to talk about it, but she sat by her grandparents' side during this painful interview, all in an effort to uncover the truth.
It was hard for the heart to have to speak like that, to say that your mom's gone, we don't know what happened to her. It was difficult there.
I need to know. I would like to know before I die.
We want to find Miss Jones for her sake, for her family's sake. So we're going to, we have a lead here, and we're going to follow up on that lead, and we'll continue to follow every lead until we find Miss Jones, and we hold those accountable for her disappearance. So we're on a piece of private property just north of the Hillsboro Civic Center property. Civic Center is where she was last known to be, and that's where her vehicle was also located after her disappearance. We were out here a few weeks ago assisting the family. They had a K-9 team come in to search the area, and at that time the K-9 team had shown some interest in a couple of locations. And today we're out here to excavate one of those locations to see if there's anything, if we can find anything there. Yeah, that's about here. Yeah, that'll be. The dogs indicated on a spot. We start in that spot and we just branch out. And that's why we're bringing the dogs back in now, is if we've excavated a pretty large area and we just want the dogs to look at that area again and see if they're indicating on anything else.
I'll be right back.
Obviously, we were hoping for better results, which didn't pan out. We'll just, any other leads that arise, we'll continue to follow up on those. Eventually, hopefully, we can bring this to a close.
Faith is often tested, and such is the case for Herbert and Bertha Probst. They're the parents of Amanda Jones, the pregnant woman who disappeared from Hillsboro in 2005.
Like I've told many people before, the unknown is worse than death itself. Not knowing what happened or where she's at.
Franklin County Sheriff's detectives believe Brian Westfall was the last person to see Amanda alive at the Hillsboro Civic Center. Keeping their daughter's cold case in the public eye means everything to the Probsts. They have a GoFundMe page to raise money for a billboard in Jefferson County with Amanda's face, asking for information to solve her disappearance.
I know we've had several people on Facebook say, well, we thought she was found. No. So the word needs to get out there again.
Do you know how much you need to raise for a billboard to keep it up for
I
a
have
length of
no
time?
clue.
To rent a billboard for a month could cost $1,500. That's according to a sign company Five on Your Side contacted.
We wanted to do a billboard from the very beginning, but we just never had the funds to do it with.
Why haven't you given up?
Because I love my daughter and I want justice. I demand justice. My granddaughter, Amanda's daughter, she's 18. She'll be 18 the 1st of November. I want her to know. I want her to find out what's happened to her mother.
There is no way to know if a billboard will help solve a 13-year-old disappearance case, but the Probsts will find out. Five on Your Side contacted Lamar Advertising to find out the cost of a billboard. The company was curious why we were asking, and when we shared Amanda Jones' story, Lamar offered use of a billboard at Highway 67 and I-55. There will be a minimal cost of about $250 to pay for the vinyl covering for the billboard.
Now, more than 13 years later, there is a renewed effort to find her. Five on Your Side's Grant Bissell tells us about the steps being taken in the case of Amanda Jones.
Just a few steps from Highway 55 in Peevely is a sign that nearly brings Hubert Probst to tears.
I never thought I'd see my daughter on a billboard. That gets me right here.
Probst's daughter, Amanda Jones, went missing from the Civic Center in Hillsboro in August 2005. Her case was never solved.
I'm getting old and I want answers.
Jones's mother, Bertha Probst, always has a reminder of her daughter with her.
I carry it on my purse all the time.
The couple hope billboards in Jefferson County will remind others that their daughter is still out there.
I'm hoping that the people that are involved or the people who know something will come forward.
Another billboard here in Festus was donated by Lamar Media back in October after a Five on Your Side story about Jones's case. And just this week, an online petition was started to reopen the case. So far, more than 1,100 people have signed.
It's really overwhelming how many people have come forward.
The petition is critical of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department's investigation into Brian Westfall and the search of his family's farm. Many believe Westfall knows what happened to Jones.
They need to put more pressure on the perpetrator, for one thing. Get out there and do some more searches. Or do searches they haven't done.
A sheriff's office spokesman told me the case was never closed, and investigators still get leads and follow each one. The problem, he says, is they can't legally search Westfall's property any further without a search warrant. The original search was limited and done only with the family's permission. He says investigators have more questions for Westfall, but he's not obligated to answer anymore. So the Probsts are hanging their hopes on someone seeing one of these signs, coming forward with more.
It's been almost 14 years since the Jefferson County family last saw or heard from their loved one. Amanda Jones was pregnant when she disappeared, but the family isn't giving up with time. Justina Coronel was with the family as they searched today in Hillsboro.
You had so many people tell us, well, it's going to be 14 years, it's time to let go. No, it's never time to let go.
Amanda Jones' family isn't giving up.
Well, we're trying to get the word back out in the public because it just kind of went stale.
That's why they hosted their own search party.
We're hoping that this search will trigger somebody's heart to say, hey, I really need to say something for this family.
Back in August of 2005, Amanda was almost 9 months pregnant with her baby boy. She came here to the Hillsboro Civic Center to meet the father of her unborn child.
She left her little 4-year-old daughter with us and told her daughter, Hannah, I'll be back in a couple hours.
But Amanda never came back.
She would not run off and leave her daughter behind.
Police say the investigation is still ongoing, but the family believes the man she met that day was involved in some way.
How dare you take my sister from me? How dare you take my niece's mom? How dare you take my mom and dad's daughter? How dare you?
Year after year, they've been waiting for answers.
If you have family, look at your family and you tell me how you would feel if one of them didn't come home one day.
But for now, Amanda's family is doing all they can to get closure.
We need closure. We need to find out where she's at so that we can put her to rest and the family can be put to rest.
Justina Coronel, 5 on your side.
The sheriff's department did have a crime scene detective just in case any evidence was found. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the St. Louis FBI. That number is 314-589-2599. They are offering a reward.